Number 10. Japan offers endurance athletes a beautiful setting to train and compete. From massive marathons to smaller local park run events to biking, swimming, and more, Japan loves endurance sports and they love to support their athletes. Going to a community event or a scheduled marathon, you can expect to be cheered on by spectators, given samples of local food, and be applauded at the finish line. Sports are a great way to improve your health, meet the local community, and celebrate fitness and health. There are hundreds of different events held every year, so it's possible to find plenty to suit your fitness level and preferred activity. My favorite is the Kuroshio Barefoot Marathon, a 5-kilometer run or walk down the stunning Areno Beach. I have many wonderful and challenging experiences with running, swimming, and cycling. While not reserved for Japan alone, Japan does endurance sports fantastically. Number 9. Onsen. While at first the idea of being completely naked in front of strangers and dipping yourself in a hot spring seems stressful, after over a dozen onsen visits, it's something I've learned to love. If you're into running or working out, a dip to soothe tired muscles is a must. While camping or traveling, onsens also offer a far more luxurious alternative to a campground shower, and they are also quite affordable, the average price being about 400 to 800 yen. Onsens are usually equipped with soap, body wash, and conditioner, and you're expected to wash yourself before going in the hot springs. Also, outdoor onsens in regions like Hokkaido, where it could be snowing when you take a plunge, are simply magical. Outdoor onsens are magic in general, but combined with a light rain or snow, it's really something else. Certainly one of the best experiences you can enjoy in Japan. It's not for everyone, but it's now one of the top experiences for me. Number 8. Miyajima and Hiroshima are both my number 8 picks, and are absolutely stunning in spring and fall. Hiroshima is a beautiful city with a central downtown area. The Peace Park Memorial, Peace Museum, Hiroshima Castle, and a ferry to Miyajima are all located within walking distance of each other. Each of these places are well worth the visit. In the springtime, the Peace Park is packed full of blooming cherry trees and is absolutely magnificent. But that's not all. A short 40-minute ferry ride away and you make landfall on Miyajima. It's an island off the coast of Hiroshima famous for Itsukushima Shrine and a huge floating torii gate. Miyajima has troublemaker deer, many restaurants, hotels, and tour shops, a wonderful cable car and hike, and is also gorgeous. It has the freshest and tastiest oysters I've ever eaten, straight from the local oyster farms, and killer maple leaf custard pastries. Spring or fall amplifies the beauty with autumn's crimson red maples and spring's delicate pink sakura. Number 7. Oboke Gorge. Deep in the wilderness of Tokushima Prefecture, you can visit the legendary Oboke Gorge and check out the Yokai Museum. It's a Japanese monster museum with great model monsters and a bit of reading to do, but the experience is offered in both English and Japanese. After having your fill of monster myths, nearby is a short but beautiful boat tour down the gorge itself. You can also brave the Iya Valley Vine Bridge, which is a terrifying bridge held together by, you guessed it, natural vines. If you're still craving adventure, an adventure rope course is also offered nearby, where you can ride zip lines over a grand river and walk tightropes through the trees. An exciting, compact adventure and a peak experience in Japan. Number 6. Let's talk about the cultural behemoth that is Japanese school. There's so much to say. Sports day, ceremonies, dance battles, and straight-up cultural festivals are unique to Japan, and they're a blast to observe and participate in. While they are a staple of ALT work and usually compulsory, the spectacle, energy, and competition between students usually make school events enjoyable to watch. There are very boring school assemblies, and some ceremonies are more on the dull side, but when your favorite students are battling it out at sports day, as an ALT, it's kind of like watching a sports anime or a high school drama playing out right in front of you. Japanese school lunch is also an adventure, and will acclimatize you to traditional local Japanese dishes. Large bowls of plain white rice, miso soup, fish, the small fish called jako, are usually staples, and I personally found it took a while for my palate to adapt, but the food is generally tasty and healthy. Not all school food is quite as authentically Japanese either. My favorite lunch is the fried chicken and pudding. Being involved in another country's education system is eye-opening, as you can look back at your own education in school and see the strengths and weaknesses. It's cool being an ALT. Students are fascinated and bewildered by stories, pictures, and life outside of Japan. Students also look up to ALTs, and forming positive relationships with students, inspiring and encouraging them, is fundamentally rewarding and meaningful. Working at a Japanese school is a once-in-a-lifetime experience and one of the best ways to experience authentic Japanese culture and life. Number 5. Want a good challenge in Japan? Try hiking. And what mountain is more renowned than the legendary Mount Fuji? An iconic and timeless symbol of Japan, Mount Fuji has 4 distinct paths to summit during its operational period, with huts along the way to restock, buy goods, use the bathroom, and even sleep. It's busy and crowded and a difficult ascent, but catching a good sunrise at the top is worth the suffering and totally unforgettable. But don't stop there. Japan is a country made of mountains, so good hiking trails and challenging climbs are abundant. Take Mount Ishizuchi, the highest peak on Shikoku, sporting a grand view at the pinnacle, with cliffside chains up the mountain for the boldest among us. Hiking in Japan, I've enjoyed wandering into forests, along river trails, and into waterfalls. Always a great time. Bring a sandwich for the view. Number 4. The classic Natsu Matsuri, or Summer Festival. Japan goes hard with its summer festivals, featuring everything from fireworks to dragon dances to yosakoi and more. During a festival, you can buy an assortment of delicious and wildly unhealthy snacks from hundreds of different vendors. Deep fried cheese and candy apples are among my forbidden favorites. Small towns and cities each host their own summer festivals, and so the style and tradition of events all change. In Kuroshio, we enjoy drumming, yosakoi dance, and karaoke. In Shimanto City, you can enjoy yosakoi, spider wrestling, parades, and fireworks. Attending these festivals is fabulous, but participating actively in them is another thrill entirely, and you can really embody the spirit of the festival. Yosakoi Matsuri is the major summer festival in Kochi Prefecture, and participating in the dancing in front of massive crowds and TV cameras makes you feel like a star. Summer festivals are some of the best times I've had in Japan, and certainly when I felt most connected to Japanese culture. Before we get into the big 3, I'll take a moment to acknowledge the honorable mentions. Riding a Japanese train, be it local, express, or the Shinkansen, is a really cool experience. You see a lot of the Japanese countryside and nature you might miss from the highway. The trains are clean and usually have bathrooms and are very reliable. Transferring on a train ride is a little intimidating, but with some practice you can hopefully catch the correct one. Even Japanese people sometimes make mistakes. It's worth riding trains in the Japanese countryside, and it's almost essential in the big cities like Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. Whale watching is epic. Being on a boat in the open ocean with blue sky and sea as far as the eye can see, there's nothing else like it. Seasickness does make this adventure difficult for a landlubber like me. In Japan, you can go snorkeling and diving and see the most amazing coral and tropical fish. Alright, time for the big 3. Skiing in Hokkaido. Experiencing a Hokkaido ski resort is like entering a different reality. The resort I stayed at had an amazing outdoor onsen, a gourmet breakfast, and a nice weight room. It also featured a self-contained shopping mall, which was really something to behold. The snow at the resort was piled far above my head, and the view from the crest of the ski hill at sunset, overlooking the Hokkaido mountain range, just look at it. The skiing itself was endlessly fun. The trails were long and the powder was deep. The food at the ski resorts was busy, most dinner locations requiring advance booking, but everything was unspeakably delicious. They offered meat-heavy meals such as shabu shabu, Genghis Khan, and yakiniku, which are all unique dining experiences in and of themselves. The lifestyle of waking up, working out, enjoying an onsen, eating a delicious gourmet breakfast, skiing all day with a gorgeous view, working out again, stopping for a hearty dinner, relaxing in the onsen, and crashing to do it all again the next day. Man, life doesn't get much better than that. Number 2. Shimanani Kaido. Cycling across the bridges and islands of the Seto Umi Inland Sea is perhaps one of the most beautiful adventures in Japan, if not the world. The views of the ocean and the islands, the expansive white, jaw-dropping steel bridges, the various interesting stops along the way. Even if you aren't cycling and simply drive across the bridges, the view from the many lookout points is worth the detour, showcasing the vast and magnificent seascape. As far as cycling is concerned, this adventure is not hard to navigate, as you follow a blue line, which mostly succeeds in leading you the right direction. It's not easy if you cycle the full 70 kilometers in a single day, which to most normal people is an incredible distance to cover, so I recommend breaking this trip up. There are also uphill portions leading up to the island hopping bridges, but otherwise the cycle is downhill or flat. While I did this adventure in a single day, spreading it over a week would give a guy ample time to explore the islands thoroughly. It's amazing. If you live in Japan, I strongly recommend. Number 1. Ohanami, or cherry blossom viewing. Cherry blossoms have a brief blooming window, and that's if the weather doesn't prematurely clean out the trees. This makes cherry season short, sweet, and special. During springtime, you can see pink sakura bloom across all of Japan. Some of the best places to see them are parks, with city parks containing the largest number of trees. With so many flowers blooming, the air smells slightly sweet and flowery. There are hundreds of popular cherry viewing destinations. Some of my favorites are the Gecko Sakura, which is an ancient and gigantic sakura tree in Kochi Prefecture, lit up at night in magnificent fashion. Hiroshima Peace Park is fantastic, but I think most Japanese city parks are wonderful for flower viewing in general. Many valleys along the Nyoto River contain massive sakura groves, and Okawa Town is another great spot in Kochi Prefecture. Japan's school and work life resets in spring, and the bittersweet and precious sakura serve as a symbol and a metaphor for that beauty and change. Experiencing Japan during Ohanami puts a flair on every other event and experience, and is quintessentially Japanese. It's an experience no Japan enthusiast would be complete without, and very few things in the world are as beautiful and as rare. Wow! From my brief 3 years living in Japan, these are the major things I've enjoyed and loved doing. Quite the list of adventures, sports, food, travel, challenge, and quintessentially Japanese ventures. Of course, living and teaching in the countryside of Japan has meant my experiences are largely related to the outdoors, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Small town life offers a quiet, relaxing, and down-to-earth adventure that I wouldn't trade for anything else. Do you have any amazing experiences in Japan to share? Let me know in the comments down below. But that's all for now. Take care and be bold.